You know, finally, how do we talk about race in this region? Can we find common ground, and can perceptions be changed? Take a look.
You have some young people who have the mindset that I'm not going to just sit up here and let you put the billy club upside my head. You're not going to sit up here and just tase me for no apparent reason. And, you know, you're not going to just sit up here and continuously shoot us without some type of repercussion. So everything reaches a boiling point.
And I think people are still in this idea that it's black people's fault that Detroit is the way it is. And only through reinvesting in certain industries that are run by a small cadre of people is how we're going to get to the Detroit that they think they remember.
The majority of African American cities in this state have been under some kind of what I consider reptilian law called emergency management that has extracted from them not only their voting rights, but their property, their pensions, control over their schools.
If you want people to achieve equality, then you need to take care of the neighborhoods, and you need to give some hope. And hope in the neighborhoods come in two things: blight and crime. If you will not clean up the neighborhoods, if you will not have proper police presence, there won't be neighborhood pride, and therefore that affects the people in the neighborhood.
What is that? A couple of different perspectives there, and I guess I'm going to ask the largest question. Have we graduated to a place here in Southeast Michigan where we are having we're having good conversations about race, or are people still afraid to talk about it? I'm going to start with you, Stephen.
I mean, people are definitely afraid to talk about it. People are uncomfortable with it. We saw on Mackinac Island just a few weeks ago, Mayor Mike Duggan stand up and try to put some of the things that he faces on a daily basis in historical context and talk about race and racism. If you looked around that auditorium,
people were very surprised too.
People were uncomfortable, and I think that's actually okay. We need to be uncomfortable for a little bit while we sort of shake things up and say, we do have to address these things. We do have to think about them. That's the only way we get to the place where people are comfortable enough to start thinking about it in terms of how you push back against it. How do you reframe some of these issues so that race plays less of a role than it does now?
What do you think, Nolan?
Well, you know, yes, I mean, conversation is important, but action, attitude's important too. And I will say, you know, so we perhaps finish on a positive note. This is the first time in my 40 years where you have people outside the city in Michigan rooting for the city. I mean, most of my time here, there was a real animosity between suburbs and city, between state and city. And I think that's breaking down as people become more involved in the city, as their children move here, as their attitudes change about the importance of Detroit. And I think that's a very helpful, useful step that could lead to some long-term positive change.
Yeah, and I really think, and I hope that this exhibit here at the Detroit Historical Museum sparks a lot of that conversation. Being able to go through and take a look at things that led up to '67, and then things that came out of it. It's a very thoughtful way to put it all into context, Stephen.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think they did a good job here of focusing people not just on what happened, but again, that broader context, this long run-up to these events that took place in this city, and of course the long run after that, where we just we've not come to reckon with all of those things in a way that would change them.
Yeah, and continues to shape where we are today. All right, thanks guys so much. That is going to do it for MiWeek. Head to MiWeek.org. We'll have a link to all of the work from the Detroit Journalism Cooperative over the past year on the intersection. Plus, you can come to the Detroit Historical Museum starting Saturday, June 24th for the interactive exhibit, Detroit 67 Perspectives. Our thanks to the museum for having us here. I'm Christy McDonald. We will see you next time for MiWeek. Take care.
Did you know Gordon Food Service was started by a 23-year-old entrepreneur as a butter and egg delivery business more than a century ago? In 1948, school teacher Gerard Wendell Hayworth borrowed $10,000 from his parents to start a woodworking operation in his family's garage. It's now Hayworth Incorporated. These are just some of the ways Michigan's pioneers started out as small companies with big ideas.
We are business leaders for Michigan. We are committed to making Michigan a top 10 state for jobs, personal income, and a healthy economy. Masco Corporation is proud to manufacture innovative and environmentally friendly products for the home. Delta faucets, craft-made in Merillat cabinets, and Behr brand paints have all been designed with you in mind. Masco and its family of companies, serving Michigan communities since 1929. Funding for this program is provided by Delta Airlines. Keep climbing.